It's a perfect day here at the Grantham Lions Park for the 5-kilometer walk to end ALS. Melissa, how common is ALS in the Niagara region?
Well, unfortunately, it's very common. At one point, it was called the rare common disease, so people thought it was very rare, but we have over about 100 people living in Niagara right now affected by this disease, and numbers are growing each day.
What's your goal this year?
So province-wide, we have a goal of 1.9. However, in Niagara, we have a goal of 115. And I'm very happy to report that as of 9:30 this morning, we're at about 85. So we're going to reach our goal, I think.
And your focus this year?
Our focus this year is always to raise awareness and to raise advocacy. We are effortlessly working in all communities to raise awareness for this disease. And obviously we need to raise funds. We are a 100% charity-driven organization. All the money raised today, 60% goes back into community service and 40% goes back into research.
Now, it's not just a fundraiser. There are other aspects to this walk. Would you talk about those?
Absolutely. It's a community event. This disease is extremely isolating. So today's a great day to come out, to listen to music and be with your family. We get to walk along the Welland Canal, which is beautiful. And it's just a great day for people to be together and to meet each other, to know that they're not alone.
Now, Susan, your husband had ALS. What was it like living with someone that had ALS?
Wow, that's a huge question. Martin had ALS for 3 years, so we had a long journey through that. Martin was diagnosed with bulbar ALS, which shows up in your face to begin with. So his speech was the first to go. So as we progressed, that was one of our first things that went for Martin, was we no longer had a voice. So we had to speak through use of technology. So when he was able to use his hands, he could text. And when he couldn't at the end, we were using an eye gaze system, so it was his eyes that spoke for him. So over the 3 years, lots of regression or progression, depending on how you want to put that. Martin was at home for the whole time, so we were lucky to have support from the direct funding. So he was allowed by the end to have 24 hours support at home. So we were lucky enough to have him at home with us. We got to watch the changes, good or bad, but we were always with him.
What was the impact on the family?
Well, at that time, my children were 9 and 11 years of age, so huge impact to watch their father regress and eventually die at home. But my daughter was a little bit older of the two. She was willing to help out her dad in any way she could, to feeding, anything like that. My son took the opposite approach. It was really hard for him. He stepped away and spent a lot of time at his grandparents' house. So we've all dealt with things differently. I worked full-time as a teacher through this whole process, and then after Martin died, I then took time for myself to kind of do some self-care there. But without our amazing healthcare team that we had of multiple people, we would never have been able to keep Martin at home.
How are you doing now, Susan?
Well, I had to continue on. I had 2 young children who needed their mom, had lost their dad, so I have actually changed careers in this process, so it was sort of a life-changing event for me. Was a teacher, have now become a psychotherapist. Went back and did my master's degree. We have a daughter who's now in 3rd year university and a son who's finishing high school. So I would say as a family, we have managed to carry on, and events like this allow us to remember Martin. We spend every anniversary together doing things that he would love to do, talk about him all the time, things like that. So he's very much still a piece of who we are. I have also moved on to another relationship because there is life after ALS. And my kids need to see that you can continue on.
Melissa, how important are the fundraising dollars to help out the families?
It's extremely important. So this is a very costly disease. It's a progressive disease in nature, so your needs are always changing. ALS Canada provides equipment for each and every family, things like power wheelchairs, hospital beds. So the money that we raise, 60% of that goes right back into equipment. It also supports my role as a community lead. I meet people in and around diagnosis, and I stay with them throughout the duration of the disease. So we are hands-on in the community service. So it's so important because we are a charity-run organization.
What's your hope, Melissa, for the future?
My hope for the future is that one day we have a cure and that I don't have a job. I would rather be unemployed and see people living with this disease and having a great quality of life.
You can still donate to this worthy cause at walktoendals.ca. thanks to all who participated today. In St. Catharines, I'm Brenda Schultz reporting for The Source.